Alberta Conservative MPs are taking a stand against the Western hostile Trudeau Liberals. Arnold Viersen, Blake Richards, Glenn Motz, and Michelle Rempel have released the Buffalo Declaration, calling for an end to the unfair treatment of our province. You can read the entire declaration at buffalodeclaration.com, and they've gone to great lengths to outline the history of our province and, more importantly, the history of the treatment of our province as a colony. Yes, that's right, a colony, not an equal participant or partner. Historically, we have never been treated equal to Eastern Canada, and that's exactly how Ottawa has always intended for us. We're simply here to fill their pockets and receive only a small fraction in return. That kind of mentality is extremely prominent to this day, with Justin Trudeau's Liberals treating us more like a colony than any other Prime Minister in Canadian history. His father before him beat Alberta into submission. This Trudeau is looking to destroy us while milking Alberta dry. Simply look at his policies like Bill C-69, C-48, the carbon tax, vetoing major infrastructure projects, nationalizing Trans Mountain, allowing these protests and blockades to continue, and botching trade agreements with China and India. For anyone to say that Trudeau policies have not devastated our province is incredibly naive. We've seen business after business close their doors. Towns that were once thriving are now ghost towns. Families are torn apart, and we have a disturbingly high suicide rate. As the Buffalo Declaration says, the plight of our people has been dismissed by many with arrogance, hypocrisy, apathy, and rarely acknowledged with any compassion, as well as stating very clearly that this colonial attitude towards Alberta must end. The fact is that we are the most unrepresented province in all levels of government. We contribute the most financially, and if we dare to try better our situation with major infrastructure products, we have to beg Eastern Canada to do so. But the thing is, Alberta doesn't want special treatment from Ottawa. We just want equal treatment. Projects in Quebec get the green light without batting an eye, while projects in Alberta get a yellow light, full well knowing that Trudeau will flip that light to red. An important thing to note is that the Buffalo Declaration isn't just a 13-page document that outlines Alberta's unfair treatment in Confederation. It presents solutions and a path forward. I was very hopeful when Jason Kenney introduced his Fair Deal panel, but the Buffalo Declaration is very right in saying that it does not go far enough. The Declaration has outlined steps that Alberta can take to have a more equal footing. It's important to understand that this is just a starting point where we're all encouraged to add to the list and go from there. First of all, Ottawa needs to formally recognize that Alberta is not an equal partner in Confederation, that we are culturally different, and that our regional interests are not properly represented. And Ottawa needs to acknowledge in the House of Commons that the National Energy Program devastated our province. Resource revenue needs to be treated the same, province to province. There's no picking and choosing who gets treated more fairly. For example, Quebec's hydro is totally exempt from the equalization formula. So those resources and the infrastructure projects that come with them should be the sole domain of that province as well. We all know Alberta is not represented fairly in the House or the Senate, and the Buffalo Declaration wants equal regional representation in all federal government departments. Equal say across the board. No more taxation without representation. The Declaration also outlines policy solutions because we all know there are some serious issues that need to be dealt with now. First off, Ottawa needs to promote our energy sector, repeal policies that hinder development, uphold the rule of law so these current blockades don't happen again, and build a national energy corridor while approving the Teck Frontier oil sands mine. Ottawa also needs to ensure that foreign energy doesn't displace Canadian energy in Canada. Why import oil when we can completely sustain ourselves and be energy independent? This declaration doesn't just focus on our energy sector, but on our agricultural sector as well. Now, restrictions on ag trade with China and India and the US must be reversed. Farmers should be exempt from the carbon tax, as well as being rewarded and credited for their advances in carbon sequestration and conservation. Another very important issue is the lack of news coverage on Western Canadian journalists in the media. Now, journalists with a Western Canadian perspective simply don't have the same access to the parliamentary press gallery as Eastern Canadian journalists do. Keep in mind that these are all stepping stones for the Buffalo Declaration to start from, and you can submit your own ideas and receive updates directly from their website. This whole, well, you can change careers to a green field that we choose for you and just sit back and take whatever we do to you isn't gonna fly anymore. The situation in our province is critical, and we've gone from the West wants in to the West wants out. All we're asking for is to be treated fairly and with respect. As Michelle Rempel said, a line in the sand has to be drawn, and it's being drawn today. Alberta can no longer sit by and watch every opportunity be stolen from us. We are an incredibly valuable piece in the Canadian puzzle, and it's high time Ottawa recognizes that before that puzzle piece just up and walks away.